Ladies and gentlemen, friends, beautiful souls in this room and watching from afar, I want you to pause for just a moment. Put your hand on your heart, take a deep breath in, and hear me loud and clear. God has a plan for you. You may not see it. You may not understand it. You may not even believe it right now. But I promise you this with every fiber of my being. You were made with purpose. You're not here by chance. You're not some random burst of cosmic energy. You were intentionally created, specifically crafted, and divinely designed. Every quirk you have, every strength, every weakness, every wild dream in your heart, it all fits into a plan that is bigger than you and far more beautiful than you've dared to imagine. Now let's be real for a second. We've all had moments where the plan didn't make any sense. The door slams shut. The person walks away. The job doesn't work out. The dream falls apart. And you're left staring at the ceiling thinking, God, where are you in this? But what if the detour wasn't a mistake? What if the thing you thought was the end was actually the beginning of your becoming? What if your pain was preparation? Because here's the truth, detours are not dead ends. They're divine directions. Every storm you've weathered, every tear you've cried, every unanswered prayer, it wasn't wasted. God does not waste pain. He turns pain into purpose. But here's the key, you've got to choose to believe it. Faith is not something you only feel on Sundays or when things go right. Faith is a daily decision. It's waking up when the alarm hits, brushing off the doubt and saying, okay, God, I don't know the whole map, but I trust you with the next step. That's all he needs. Just a mustard seed, just 1 ounce of trust, and he'll move mountains you never dreamed possible. And here's the most powerful part. You are not just being led, you are being built. You are becoming someone whose very life will inspire others. One day, someone will point at you and say, because they didn't quit, I didn't quit. Because they kept believing, I found hope. Because they trusted God, I found faith again. Your story is going to matter. It already does. So don't give up. Don't hide your light. Don't wait for all the pieces to make sense. Walk in faith. Show up with heart. Trust the process. Because the truth is, and always will be, God has a plan for you. And it's good. It's greater than your fear. It's stronger than your past. And it's unfolding right now. So stand tall. Keep going. You're right on schedule. Would you like a version of this with pacing and timing notes for delivery? You were designed with purpose. That's not just a motivational phrase. It's a truth that sits deep in your soul, whether you feel it right now or not. You are not a mistake. You are not random. You are not the result of some cosmic accident. You were created by a higher hand, intentionally formed, uniquely gifted, and placed in this moment in time for a reason. There's a divine blueprint over your life that's unlike any other. You carry within you talents, insights, experiences, and even struggles that are not just for you. They're part of something much bigger. The design of your life was written with care. Every detail matters. That means your voice matters. Your presence matters. Your story matters. When we look around at the world, we often feel pressure to conform, to fit into a mold, to measure up to someone else's version of success. But you weren't created to blend in. You weren't designed to be a copy. You were designed to stand out, not through arrogance or ego, but through the quiet confidence that comes from knowing you were made on purpose, for a purpose. And that purpose is not something you have to go out and invent. It's something you discover step by step as you begin to walk in alignment with who you really are, not who the world told you to be. Think about this. The very fact that you're alive today means you are needed. It means that the world is incomplete without your contribution. There are people only you can reach. There are lives only you can touch. There are dreams planted in your heart for a reason, and they're not there to torment you or tease you. They're there because you're meant to do something with them. Those ideas that won't let you go, that passion that keeps tugging at your heart, that's not coincidence. That's calling. And yes, you may have doubts. You may feel inadequate. You may feel like you're too late or too broken or too far gone, but none of that disqualifies you. In fact, the very things you think disqualify you might be the exact things that make you ready. Every challenge you've overcome, every scar you carry, every time you've had to fight to keep going, it's all part of the design. Those moments didn't break you. They built you. They shaped your strength, deepened your empathy, and gave you wisdom you couldn't have learned any other way. You don't need to hide your past. You don't need to pretend you have it all together. You just need to own your journey and keep walking with open hands and an open heart, knowing that your purpose isn't tied to perfection. It's tied to progression. It's not about being flawless. It's about being faithful. And you don't have to wait until some distant day in the future to step into your purpose. Purpose doesn't start someday. It starts today. right here in the little choices, in how you show up for yourself, in how you treat others, in how you lean into the gifts you've been given, even when it feels small or unseen. You were not designed to live a life of constant striving or settling for just surviving. You were designed to live with intention, with direction, with impact. And impact isn't measured by how many followers you have or how much applause you get. It's measured in how fully you live the life you were meant to live. If you feel out of place, if you feel like you haven't found your thing yet, don't panic. Purpose is not always found in a lightning strike or a grand moment of clarity. Sometimes it's found in the quiet, in the whisper, in the nudging that keeps coming back. Sometimes it's found in the places you didn't expect, through a relationship, through a hardship, through a step of obedience that didn't even make sense at the time. But as you walk it out, as you stay connected to what's real and true and honest within you, things start to unfold. The design starts to become visible. You may not see the full picture yet, but you were never meant to. You were just meant to trust the designer, to lean into what you've been given, to stop comparing your journey to someone else's and start embracing your own. Because when you do that, when you really begin to live from that place of divine design, you stop waiting for permission. You stop shrinking back. You stop hiding your light. And you start showing up as the person you were always meant to be. Not someday, but right now. Because you were designed with purpose, and that purpose is already inside you. Detours are not dead ends. Life has a way of surprising us, doesn't it? One moment we think we're on the right path, everything's lining up, and then suddenly, out of nowhere, the plan changes, the relationship ends, the business fails, the opportunity disappears. The door we were praying would open slams shut. And in that moment, it's easy to feel lost, disappointed, maybe even betrayed. We start asking ourselves, why did this happen? Did I miss the mark? Did I miss the mark? We start to think that maybe this is the end. Maybe this setback means we're done. But that's not how purpose works. That's not how destiny unfolds. What feels like a detour to us is often a divine redirection. It's not a punishment. It's a pivot. And just because it didn't happen your way doesn't mean it won't happen a better way. You see, we live with limited vision. We plan based on what we can see right now, but God sees the entire picture, past, present, and future. He sees the long game, and sometimes in His grace, He'll let something fall apart because He knows what's ahead. Sometimes He'll close a door not to hurt us, but to protect us. And when you learn to trust that detours are part of the design, you stop panicking every time things don't go as planned. You stop interpreting a no as the end of the story and start seeing it as a setup for something different, something deeper, something more aligned with who you're becoming. It's in the detours that we often grow the most. Think about it. When everything's going smoothly, when everything's predictable and easy, we don't always stretch. We don't always dig deep. But when the road twists, when our plans are interrupted, when we're forced to adapt, that's when something shifts inside us. That's when we build resilience. That's when we discover strength we didn't know we had. That's when our character is shaped. Because while we may have signed up for comfort, God signed us up for growth. And growth doesn't always look pretty. Sometimes it looks like sitting in the dark, waiting for direction, learning how to trust again, learning how to let go of control. It's hard, it's humbling, but it's not the end. It's never the end. Some of the most powerful people you'll ever meet are people who have taken detours. People who have walked through loss, through failure, through seasons of uncertainty. But instead of letting those detours define them, they let them refine them. They kept walking. They kept believing. And they came out on the other side stronger, wiser, and more aligned with who they were created to be. The detour didn't destroy them. It delivered them into a new version of themselves. It's okay if the path changed. It's okay if the timeline shifted. It's okay if you're not where you thought you'd be. Just because you're not there yet doesn't mean you're not on your way. Detours are not delays in destiny. They're often the fastest way to growth. The most direct path to purpose, even if it doesn't feel that way in the moment. There's something sacred happening in the process, even in the parts you don't understand. And if you could zoom out, if you could see the full arc of your story, you'd realize this chapter isn't a mistake. It's necessary. Sometimes we need to be rerouted so we can meet the right people. Sometimes we need a closed door so we can rediscover who we really are. Sometimes we need the dream to be shaken so we can stop building a version of life that wasn't truly meant for us in the first place. And none of that is failure. None of that is the end. It's grace in motion. It's divine strategy wrapped in mystery. It's life calling you deeper, calling you higher, calling you to become who you were really meant to be. So if you're in a season where nothing is going to plan, if you feel like you're off track, if you're questioning everything, breathe. You're not lost. You're not forgotten. You're being led. You're being prepared. You're being set up for something far greater than what you thought you had to cling to. Let go of the timeline. Let go of the fear. Let go of the belief that it had to happen a certain way. And hold on to this truth: the detour isn't the end of your story. It might just be the most important part. Faith is a daily choice. It's not a one-time decision you make at a retreat or a powerful moment that happens on a mountaintop. It's not a lightning strike or a sudden burst of clarity that sticks with you forever without effort. Faith is something you wake up and choose again and again, especially on the days when it doesn't come easy. It's not just for the good days when everything's falling into place and your heart is full of hope. It's especially for the hard days, the ones filled with uncertainty, silence, confusion, and doubt. That's when faith becomes real. That's when it stops being a nice idea and starts becoming a lifeline. Faith isn't about having all the answers. It's about choosing to trust anyway. It's standing in the middle of the unknown and saying, I don't see how, but I still believe something good is coming. It's being honest about your fear, but choosing not to let that fear define your decisions. It's waking up when everything feels heavy and still deciding to show up, to try to love, to hope, to believe that you're being guided, even when it's quiet, even when the map is unclear. Faith is a muscle, and like any muscle, it only gets stronger with use. You don't build faith when everything's comfortable. You build it when you're stretched, when you're uncertain, when you feel like giving up but choose to move forward anyway. So many people wait for a feeling before they act in faith. They think they have to feel confident, feel strong, feel inspired. But faith is not a feeling. It's a decision. It's a choice you make before the feeling arrives. It's trusting the process even when you don't feel like it. It's making the call, writing the book, applying for the job, starting the healing journey, opening your heart again, all without any guarantees. That's what makes it powerful. That's what makes it transformative. Faith dares you to move forward without needing to control the outcome. It asks you to let go of certainty and step into trust. Some days, faith feels like peace and strength and deep assurance. Other days, it feels like dragging yourself out of bed and whispering, God, just help me take the next step. And both are valid. Both count. Because faith isn't measured by how loud or perfect it looks. It's measured by your willingness to keep showing up. It's the quiet resolve to stay open when you'd rather shut down. It's holding on when you have every reason to let go. It's believing that your life still matters, even when it doesn't look like what you expected. There's a reason faith is described as a walk, not a sprint. It's step by step, moment by moment, day by day. Some days you'll feel like you're soaring. Other days, it'll feel like you're crawling. But as long as you're still moving forward, you're still growing. And in those daily choices, in those small, sacred decisions to believe again, you start to shift. You start to notice that peace shows up more often. That courage visits you more frequently. That doubt, while still present, doesn't have the final word. And that's what faith does. It doesn't erase fear, but it puts it in the backseat. It lets trust lead the way. It's easy to look at other people's journeys and think they have unshakable faith, that they're wired differently, that somehow they got a clearer signal. But the truth is, they're just choosing faith over and over again. They're choosing to listen to the voice of hope instead of the voice of fear. They're choosing to believe that something bigger is working on their behalf, even when they can't see it. And you can make that same choice every day, even when it's hard, especially when it's hard. Faith isn't about proving anything. It's not about being fearless or flawless. It's about being willing. Willing to trust when you're tired. Willing to try again after a setback. Willing to believe that your life has meaning even when your circumstances say otherwise. It's about showing up with your questions, your doubts, your broken pieces, and still saying, I'm here. I'm open. I believe you're not finished with me yet. That willingness is everything. That decision, repeated daily, can transform your entire life. Because every time you choose faith, you strengthen your soul. You align your heart with something greater than yourself. And in doing so, you begin to walk in the direction of your purpose, one choice at a time. Faith is a daily choice. It's not something you choose once and never have to revisit. It's not a feeling you ride forever once you experience it once. Faith isn't a finish line, it's a way of life. It's waking up every single day and deciding, sometimes against all odds, to believe. To believe that even though you can't see the full picture, there's a bigger plan in motion. To believe that even when everything around you feels uncertain, there's a foundation underneath you that won't crumble. It's deciding again and again to trust. Not because everything is perfect, but because you know that something greater than you is holding it all together. There are days when faith feels easy, when everything flows, when doors open, when peace surrounds you. On those days, trusting feels natural. But then there are the other days, the ones when the road is rocky, when prayers feel unanswered, when you're tired and nothing makes sense. It's in those moments that faith becomes a choice. It's in those moments that you look at your circumstances and say, even though I don't understand, I will trust anyway. Even though I'm afraid, I will take the step. Even though I feel alone, I will believe that I am not. That is faith. It's not blind optimism. It's not pretending everything's okay. It's courage. It's surrender. It's waking up and saying, I'm choosing to believe again today. Faith is not about having it all figured out. It's not about never doubting or never questioning. In fact, it's often in the middle of our doubts and questions that our faith is formed. You can wrestle with uncertainty and still have faith. You can be afraid and still move forward in trust. Faith doesn't require perfect confidence. It requires honest intention. It's the willingness to take the next step without knowing where the path ends. It's showing up with your whole heart, even when you feel broken. It's believing in possibility when logic says it's over. And every time you choose to believe, even a little bit, even through the tears, even through the fear, you grow. You build something unshakable inside of you. We tend to think of faith as this massive mountain-moving thing, and yes, it can be. But more often, it's subtle, it's quiet. It's in the little moments, choosing kindness when you feel impatient, choosing integrity when no one's watching, choosing hope when your heart feels heavy. It's choosing to pray even when you're not sure you'll get an answer. It's choosing to start again after a failure. It's choosing to keep loving, keep giving, keep believing, day after day, even when you don't feel like it. That's where faith lives, not in the big, dramatic gestures, but in the small, consistent choices that stack up over time and shape who you are. Some days your faith will feel strong. Other days it will feel like all you have left is a whisper, a flicker. That's okay. It's not about how loud your faith is. It's about how real it is. Even the smallest amount of faith can move the biggest obstacles. You don't need to fake certainty. You just need to keep showing up. Keep choosing to believe that your life has meaning, that your pain has purpose, that your steps are not wasted, that you are being led even when the way forward is unclear. Because the moment you choose faith, something shifts, maybe not around you, but definitely within you. Faith changes how you see. It changes how you walk. It anchors you when the winds rise. And the beauty of faith is that it builds over time. Each time you choose it, you strengthen it. You start to remember how far you've come. You start to see how things have worked together in ways you couldn't have planned. You start to recognize that every single time you trusted and didn't give up, something good came from it, even if it took longer than you wanted. Faith trains your heart to stay steady in the unknown. It teaches you to keep moving forward with open hands, knowing that what's ahead is worth it. And yes, you will be tested. Yes, you will have moments where everything in you wants to give up. But faith says, keep going anyway. Faith says, there's more for you. Faith says, you're not alone in this. So choose it, not just once, but every morning, every hard moment, every time you doubt. Choose to believe again. Choose to trust again. Choose to stand even if it's trembling. Faith is not a one-time decision. It's a daily devotion to a bigger truth, a deeper love, a higher plan. And every time you choose it, you become more of who you were made to be. Your story will inspire others. You might not see it yet. You might not feel like your life is anything extraordinary. You might even feel like it's been full of mistakes, wrong turns, heartbreaks, and disappointments. But that's exactly why it will matter to someone else. That's exactly why it will reach hearts in a way no perfectly polished story ever could. People aren't looking for perfection. They're looking for real. They're looking for truth. They're looking for someone who's walked through the fire and came out with wisdom, someone who's fallen but kept getting back up, someone who's faced darkness and still chooses light. That could be you. That is you. You don't have to have all the answers to be a light for someone else. You don't have to be completely healed to bring healing. You don't have to be at the finish line to encourage someone who's just starting out. Sometimes the most powerful thing you can do is simply say, I've been there too. That connection, that honesty, that vulnerability, it opens doors. It breaks walls. It reminds others that they're not alone. And maybe no one ever said this to you, but what you've lived through matters. What you've survived has meaning. The lessons you've learned, the tears you've cried, the moments you wanted to give up but didn't. Those aren't just memories. They're seeds. Seeds that can grow into hope for someone else. You see, the pain you experienced wasn't pointless. The setbacks, the struggles, the silent seasons, they were all part of shaping you. And because of them, you carry a compassion, a depth, a grit that can't be taught in a classroom. You've earned that through living, through battling forward when you didn't feel strong, through choosing to keep going when nothing made sense. And people need that kind of example. They need to see that healing is possible, that hope is real. That faith isn't just for the people who have it all together. It's for the fighters, the dreamers, the broken-hearted, the ones who keep choosing to believe anyway. There's someone out there who needs your story, someone who's facing what you've already come through, someone who needs to know it's possible to start over, to rebuild, to breathe again. Your journey might be the thing that gives them permission to stop hiding. Your truth might be the reason they finally let go of shame. And you don't even need a stage or a platform to do that. Sometimes your story will inspire someone in a quiet conversation, a shared look, a handwritten note, a social media post, a late-night phone call. It's not about how many people hear it. It's about how deeply it touches the one who does. You may be tempted to downplay your experience, to think it's not big enough or impressive enough to share. But inspiration isn't about the size of the struggle. It's about the heart behind the healing. It's about the willingness to say, this is what I went through, and this is who I'm becoming because of it. That honesty, that courage, that's what changes lives. That's what gives others hope that they can rise to. And don't think for a second that your story is over. You're still in the middle of it. You're still growing, still becoming, still unfolding into everything you were created to be. And that's powerful too. Because when people see you walking through your process in real time, when they see you being honest about your highs and lows, your wins and your wounds, they see what real faith and real strength look like. Not the edited version, not the highlight reel, but the raw, honest, evolving journey of a human who's doing their best to live with purpose, heart, and hope. So don't hold it in. Don't disqualify yourself. Don't wait until it all makes sense or looks perfect. Your story has power now. Your voice has impact now. Your journey has value now. And someone is waiting, not for your perfection, but for your presence. Not for your answers, but for your authenticity. Someone is waiting for the moment when your courage helps them find theirs. When your story makes them believe, even for just a second, that maybe they can keep going too. And that is the beauty of it all. Your story doesn't end with you. It lives on in the people you touch, the hearts you inspire, the hope you plant along the way. So wherever you are right now, whatever season you're in, whether you're climbing or crawling, celebrating or surviving, know this: God has a plan for you. You were designed with purpose, not by accident, but with intention. The detours in your life were not dead ends. They were divine reroutes, building you, growing you, preparing you for something greater. Faith is a daily choice, not a one-time event, and every day you choose to believe again, you're aligning with a bigger story being written for your good. And your story, yes, your story is not just for you, it's a light for others. It's proof that healing is possible, that hope is alive, that even after all you've been through, you can still rise and make a difference. This isn't just motivational talk. It's truth. It's a call to remember who you are, who created you, and why you're still here. You are not forgotten. You are not disqualified. You are not finished. Keep walking, keep trusting, keep showing up. The path may twist, the journey may stretch you, but every step has meaning. You can be happy again. You can walk in purpose again, because the story isn't over and God's not done with you yet.